Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with the video. My mom and dad divorced after I was born. I was led to believe that my dad pretty much disappeared off the earth because he didn't want to take custody of me, only support my mom financially. I guess giving me up was what my mom wanted too. So it's needless to say, I was always the unwanted child, and I felt that in me ever since I was a little kid. After divorcing my dad, my mom started dating my stepdad, who avoided my existence from the get-go like the plague. It was very obvious that he did not want to look after the child of another man. So after my mom gave birth to my stepsister, Anna, their real family life started with me being the stranger in it, of course. They never missed an opportunity to make me feel like the odd man out, the black sheep, the one that wasn't meant to be here, and I endured it all because what else could I do? It wasn't like anyone else wanted me, so I just did whatever I could to stay far away from their perfect family. Thankfully, school was the place that became my escape. I made friends who I knew meant more to me than family did. I started being out more and more with my parents, not caring whatsoever. I felt I was living the life finally, and then I met Freddie, who made me feel a complete whole. We started dating in sophomore year, and I thought we were still going strong as we had moved in together and even went to the same undergraduate school. My parents didn't bother about any of it. Honestly, the day I moved out of the house, it was so obvious that they were glad that I was leaving. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel glad either. I finally felt like I was free and breathing fresh air. Everything between Freddie and I was well and good. I'd even say better than ever since I had introduced Freddie to my bio dad, who I had gotten back into contact with. Long story. And they both got along amazingly well. Then, I'm not sure what happened, but last week, Freddie sat me down telling me that we needed to talk. I immediately got a weird feeling in my stomach as if I just knew something was off. And then it happened. Freddie confessed it all to me. He told me everything that had been going on in his mind. According to him, although this was the best relationship he's ever been in, he had realized that this wasn't a forever thing. My heart dropped in my stomach. I began questioning him up and down over his change of mind, but he wouldn't budge. He was set on the fact that we were done and that he was going to move out of our shared apartment. I was completely numb. I ran to my dad, who comforted me. Hell, that man even went as far as to try to have a one-on-one conversation with Freddie. It was absolutely of no avail. Freddie started slowly moving his stuff into his friend's house, who he was going to live with. He'd only return home at night, and even then he refused to talk to me. Then, out of sheer desperation to seek an answer, I decided to do something which I knew I shouldn't have, thinking it was the best thing to do. I looked into Freddie's phone, and needless to say, all the answers lay there like an open book. No, he wasn't on Tinder, Hinge, or Bumble. He was on a group chat with my mom and sister, who tormented him. The group chat was horrifying. They sent him fake, made-up screenshots of me talking to them about my desire to leave the relationship, how unsatisfied I am in it, etc. I was lost. Like literally, the conversations were on and on, trying to convince Freddie to leave me because I would never do it up front because he has depression. Yes, these people went as far as to use this poor guy's terrible mental health to blackmail him into doing something he never wanted. My heart shattered into a million pieces, even though I was shocked that he believed them. With his poor self-esteem and a family life as similar as mine, I wasn't surprised. I put his phone aside and didn't do anything. Ever since I've discovered this, I've just become completely lost, numb, heartbroken. I feel out of place and unsure of what to do. It feels like I have this whole mess in front of me that I need to take care of. but don't know where to start. I feel so terrible about this all that I haven't even spoken to my dad about it. It's so bad that I think even Freddie has noticed something is off. What should I do here, Reddit? Would I be the a-hole if I argued with my family over it? Any advice would be much appreciated. I decided to confront my mom and Anna about it all, and the reason behind why they did everything has still left me in shambles. To understand the entire ordeal, you guys will need some context. Here's how it goes. My bio dad came into the picture when I was in the first year of undergrad school. It was actually his lawyer who reached out to me asking if I'd be interested in getting to meet my dad who wanted to meet me. After all that happened with my mom, I practically felt like an orphan. What did I have to lose? Absolutely nothing. So I took the risk and met him up. To my utter surprise and shock, he was nothing like my mom had ever described to me. The moment we met, I felt a sense of warmth take over me. I was greeted by his wife and his 2 sons, who began treating me like a sister the moment they saw me. We talked and talked when my dad confessed to me that my mom had left him high and dry after the divorce. He literally had to file for bankruptcy and restart his life all over again. Due to all of this, he also lost my custody. Upon hearing all of this, I couldn't help but give him a chance, and let me tell you guys, finally receiving the love and acceptance that I had been craving for years felt like absolute bliss. It felt like I'm finally home. That isn't the part that hurt my mom, though. She was least bothered about it all. It all started the moment she found out that I had canceled the college loans I had applied for. When she asked me why, I simply told her it was because my dad had offered to pay for my tuition fees and I had taken up on it. She couldn't digest and started demanding me and my dad for him to pay for Anna's tuition. He obviously said no, and that is what triggered them to come up with this plan. Being speechless would be an understatement. The sheer entitlement and the absolute need to ruin my life is astounding. It took every inch of me to not slap Anna when she said this to me. But what could I do? I know it's only karma that's going to get to her. I just heard them out, got up and wished her good luck because she needed it to pay off her college loans. The look on her face gave me the satisfaction I needed as I left. I finally spoke to Freddie today. Our conversation was indeed very intense, with me telling him that everything that had gone down with my mom and I. He sort of broke down the moment I brought up the topic. I guess he figured my mood being as off as it was, something was about to come. I was open and honest to him about me checking his phone. He wasn't all that bothered about it all. But like I said, my sister and my mom and everything they said was his biggest concern. I gave him my phone so that he could check it for himself. I knew that, of course, that's not all that he'd need to feel convinced that what he did wasn't wrong, but it definitely gave him a sense of reassurance. We talked a lot, and it was a very serious discussion. We realized how much we still struggled with mental health issues, and the fact that Freddie went to this extent while knowing how my family was definitely was an eye-opener to how much we need to improve our family lives. We understood how important it was for us to continue therapy due to our family lives being the way it is, so that we can ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. Thankfully, I feel very lucky to say that with our jobs and savings, we can afford to get into therapy. This is a privilege, I know. We've already started looking for therapists that meet our individual requirements. I'm hoping to meet a good one very soon. A lot of you guys were asking for a sort of long-term update, so here it is. Freddie and I found amazing therapists that have helped us work on our mental health tremendously already. I feel we're proud of where we have reached and know fully well that with the progress we're making, we'll definitely go places. As for Anna, though, from what I had heard, Anna got into a community college because her grades were too low to get into an actual university. Pretty rich of her to worry about a tuition fund and go as far as she has to get it, I know. Even though it's been only a month since all of this happened, it already feels like something that went down a very long time ago. I definitely feel much happier, stable, and content about my life and find it much easier to focus on studies without my mom and Anna being around weighing me down. Of course, support from amazing people like my dad, Freddie, and you guys have been of great help too. Thank you all. NTA, any parent who thinks their kids owe them for being raised is evil, shallow, entitled, and weak. You owe your mom absolutely nothing. Any parent should only want to see their kids succeed, but your mom seems to be a completely different case. Good to see that you've gone no contact with her. You and your boyfriend definitely do not deserve to be blackmailed, gaslit, and manipulated as much as you were. NTA, you don't owe her anything. Tell her that if she really wants her money, she can take you to court or just ask her new husband to give it to her. I really hope that from going no contact and with good mental health, you and your partner can create a life you love and try to let go. You deserve that. I, 22 male, was adopted when I was around 2 years old. Not that I can actually remember, but that's what my parents say. By my darling mama, 52 female, and my beloved papa, 52 male. They had 2 kids before me and 1 after me, but never treated me any different. My parents are now divorced, but I still have a great relationship with them both. All I know from my past is a letter my bio dad wrote for me. He was 15 at the time I was born, and in the letter, he said that he was hurt for giving me up and promised to find me. I was handed this letter when I turned 12, and because of my parents' love and care, I never felt like looking for my bio parents. May this year, my papa called me. I don't live with any of my parents anymore, saying that my bio dad reached out to him to meet me. He claimed to be dying to meet me. Papa was requesting my permission to let him know my address or set up a meeting at a cafe or something. I didn't accede at first, but my papa encouraged me to do it, so I did. For my surprise, he was waiting for me with a woman who claimed to be my bio mom. They both hugged me and kissed me. We sat down to talk. They explained the circumstances that made them give me up. Basically, that they were kids without their parents' support. Then they told me a little bit about their lives now. So basically, they are not together. They remarried. My bio dad married a man, and they have 2 daughters together. My bio mom married her husband and has a boy. So the whole afternoon was us talking about our lives. They seemed to be nice people in their late 30s and not the monsters I thought they were. Anyway, I thought that it'd be the first and last time we saw each other. I mean, I was taking it as a closure. Like 2 weeks later, my bio dad sent me a text saying that he couldn't sleep since he met me and was desperate to meet me again and introduce me to my family, his husband and kids. But I let him know that it was a closure to me and not the opening of a new relationship, since I already have my family and he has his family. He seemed sad, but accepted my wish for a while. My bio mom did something similar too, expressing her wish that I'd meet her husband and son. They stopped trying to meet again for a while, but started again in August. They started sending me texts on how much they love me and want to meet me. They also started sending gifts to my papa's house. They don't know where I live. My dad encourages me to give them a chance and meet their families, but I know my mom isn't comfortable with that idea, and I don't want her to feel betrayed by me. I decided I had enough, so I sent them a text requesting them to stop, to make things up, and just give up on me because I already have 2 parents, and they should get back to their loved and wanted families and just block them. My dad and friends say I was too rude and I should apologize, but my mom thinks it was okay since they chose to disrespect my boundaries. AITA here. NAH. I can understand the pain and grief your bio parents must be feeling in meeting you and not feeling they can be a part of your life, which led to them overstepping a bit. They quite literally lost you all over again. Even if the first time was voluntary, as much as teen parents with meager resources who cared for your well-being had choice. Ultimately, relationships are a two-way street. Both parties have to want it. It sounds like at this time you do not want a relationship with them, and you're NTA for enforcing that boundary. I've never been in your shoes, but I just want to call attention to the phrase, I already have my family, and I already have two parents. You are, of course, entitled to claim whoever you want as your family. It just is an interesting phrase since family is dynamic and not static. A complete family does not have to have a certain number of parents. It sounds like you ended up with a wonderful family in any event. NTA, I don't think they're bad people for giving you up, especially since they admitted that they couldn't have given you a good life. However, that doesn't mean you owe them anything either. If you don't want a relationship with them, that is your right. They aren't entitled to you just because they made you. Pre-story. I, 30 female, have a Russian father and Ukrainian mother, was born in Russia and lived there for the majority of my life until moving elsewhere in 2014 together with my parents. I still have close family left in both countries. Trust me, this is important. When the shit show started, my godmother was trying to flee the country and I was helping her to move across, as we are really close. She runs a business where she makes custom gifts based on Slavic culture and mythology. As a thank you for all the help, she has gifted me and my boyfriend a custom-made matryoshka doll, which is in our living room, and some smaller custom-made charms. Mine is Baba Yaga, Slavic witch, and my boyfriend got a knight. That attached to the keys. Honestly, I love them as they are very well made and look gorgeous. Now, me and my boyfriend have a group of friends. Together with us, there's about 9 of us, and every other weekend we normally chill at each other's places. In this group, we can discuss anything, including such sensitive topics as politics and religion, and it has been this way for the last 5 years. About 2 months ago, a girl, Nikki, has joined our group. When I say joined, it's more like started inviting herself to our get-togethers. And oh God, she would get offended at anything. This Monday, we had a get-around at my place to cheer me up. I hadn't invited Nikki, but she showed up anyway. I was about to start my rant about the events, but Nikki stopped me, saying she's feeling offended over the language I used. Then she got offended at the matryoshka doll in our house and the charms on our keys too, due to cultural appropriation. I have asked, what is her problem? And to which she said that her great-grandmother was once married to a Russian soldier, so she feels really connected to the country. Here's where I can be an a-hole. I have lost my cool and called her out that she cannot be offended over something she is not a part of. She has never visited both countries and has absolutely no ties to them. I have called her selfish as she was making the situation about her when I was stressed, as well as calling her heartless. I have also reminded her that I am from those countries and am allowed to have items in my house reminding me of them, and cultural appropriation is something completely different. As the entire group was present, she got embarrassed and left, messaging me later what an a-hole I was and that I should apologize. She also posted a rant about it on social media, making me the bad guy, and people are agreeing with her. AITA? NTA. Cultural appropriation can be a problem, but people who have no idea what they're talking about need to shut up and stop using it as an excuse to be offended. It's become such a popular topic that people like her don't even bother finding out if you're a member of the culture before getting pissy. But honestly, even if you're not a part of a culture, you're allowed to take interest in it and learn about it and even have art related to it, as long as you're respectful of said culture. How else are we supposed to learn about each other? NTA, she made the comments in front of the group. She shouldn't be upset if you respond to her in front of the group. It's understandable that you would get upset when your grandmother's creations are precious things to you and she is accusing you of something you're not even doing. She literally insulted your decor and your intentions. If she doesn't like them, she doesn't have to be in your home. And she doesn't have to hang out with you if she doesn't like the way you talk. I'm kind of not sure what type of friendship you could even have with this woman if she's going to be bothered by the way you talk and get insulted by your stuff based on erroneous assumptions. Sounds like she's not a right fit for you and maybe not a right fit for the group, possibly.